Hello there, my name is Nate Jackson. The Eclipser. Wasn't that a short break? Welcome back to part 3 of our review of Kenzi Mizoguchi's Fallen Women, Women of the Night, Yoru no Onatachi. 1948, 74 minutes, black and white, monolingual Japanese with optional English subtitles, 1.33 to 1 aspect ratio. So just like the last movie we saw, Sisters of the Gaion, this movie revolves around two sisters who are in the profession. However, there's two big differences between the last two movies we saw and this one. First of all, this was made in 1948, 12 years after the last movie, after Osaka Elegy and Sisters of the Gaion. This was after the war. There are a lot of effects being felt throughout the movie, a lot more modernism. And also, the bigger difference, in my opinion, is the fact that the women in this movie are not geishas. They are straight up prostitutes. They wear Western clothes and stand on the corner and proposition men for a good time at a price. In this case, but the other big difference is in this case the two sisters we're speaking of, Fusako and Natsuko, who reunite after a short period of time, basically fall into the profession. Fusako, I guess, ends up losing her husband and her baby, and so she ends up, relegating herself to her new way of life. Natsuko ends up finding her sister there, and it's pretty complicated. Probably the biggest plot point is the fact that Natsuko ends up dating Fusako's lover, or vice versa. Someone was somebody's lover. I think Fusako was this guy Kenzo's mistress, and Natsuko is already loving, with him or something, and it's, when they find out, there's a big rift between them. And they also have a younger friend, Kumiko, who ends up running away from home, and she's found out to be a prostitute at the end of the movie. And it's probably because of the end of the movie, it's probably one of the darkest films. It's definitely one of the darkest films I've seen in the Eclipse, in any of the Eclipse movies. The women who work as prostitutes in the red light district of that town are very violent, are very, very kind of unionized. When they find Kumiko, they basically lash out at her and beat her up because she wasn't agreed to. They didn't agree on her or whatever that she could work with them. So yeah, but when Fusako ends up realizing that it's young Kumiko, and Kumiko's become a really big rebel and all that, and Fusako ends up having a change of heart and saying, we need to get out, and at that point, like, half the girls side with Fusako, and the rest of them are just, what are you doing, we gotta stay with our jobs, and at the end of the movie, Fusako ends up taking Kumiko home, and hopefully for the better. So unlike the first two movies, there seems to be a clear positive ending, at least for these two. Natsuko, on the other hand, it feels like her fate is a little undetermined, and I may have missed that part. But so feel free to comment below and explain that if I missed something. But yeah, that's basically the movie. It's definitely, again, the darkest movie because of the fighting at the end and just the violence, and again, there's what I believe is a rape scene in the movie where I think Natsuko ends up getting raped by some guy and becoming pregnant by him. And so that's straight up dark. So I'm gonna give this one a B+ because of the nature of the movie. I'm sure that's what Mizoguchi intended, but still, you know, just from face value, that's all I can give it. So, and that's the kind of the point. So, so I'll give Women of the Night a B+. Very, very dark, but still a decent movie. So, 3 down, 1 to go. That's it for today, and we will see you all tomorrow for the final film in Series 13, Street of Shame. And until then, goodbye.